Hey, it's Austin with Korked. Let's talk about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the 2022 Oscars. Or should we call it a hitch slap? This was undoubtedly the worst moment of Will Smith's career. Since After Earth, of course. I mean, this was arguably the craziest thing to happen to an award show since Kanye interrupted Tay-Tay, which you gotta admit, it takes a special kind of crazy to make a Kanye West outburst seem hinged. But that's how wild this moment was. So let's break it down. Now, the entire night started with Will and Jada showing off their fits on TikTok, with the caption, "Me and Jada got all dressed up to choose chaos." Well, I mean, I guess you can't say he didn't warn us. And then later he posted this TikTok showing off his suit, but to me it just looks like he's warming up. And to me, he kind of looks like Juwan Howard here, which I guess would be pretty fitting. So midway through the show, Chris Rock is introduced as a presenter. He comes out, makes a couple of jokes.
No one's wearing a mask. Just breathing raw dog tonight.
I mean, pretty solid performance by him in my opinion. He even makes a joke that references Javier Bardem's wife, Penelope Cruz.
Now, if she loses, he can't win.
Notice how he doesn't get enraged and rush the stage. Remember that, because that fact will come back into play here soon. So then Chris pivots to the Smith family.
He is praying that Will Smith wins, like, please.
And, well, makes a G.I. Jane joke about Jada Smith's shaved head.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
I mean, you remember the 1997 film where Demi Moore famously shaved her head? I mean, yeah, it's probably not the most timely reference to make in 2022, but what other options did he have? What, V for Vendetta? Maybe Wolf of Wall Street? I mean, with the success of the Free Britney movement, those jokes were thrown out the window, so he went G.I. Jane.
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Again, not the best joke in the world. And Jada has been open about her alopecia diagnosis and her insecurity with hair loss. Plus, there's a little bit of history there. Remember when Jada and Will famously boycotted the Oscars after Will's last Oscar snub? When the show was hosted by, you guessed it, he took a few shots at them then, like this one.
Jada's gonna boycott the Oscars. Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited.
And this one.
Jada's mad her man, Will, was not nominated for concussion. I get it. She said it's not fair that Will was this good and didn't get nominated. Yeah, you're right. It's also not fair that Will was paid $20 million for Wild Wild West, okay?
But Chris Rock's relationship with the Smiths has always been complicated. I mean, they've been friends, sure. Hell, Will and Chris even dated.
Now, which one of you handsome men is Big Willie?
But as you might guess, sometimes the comedian crosses the line with jokes. Like when Will shared this picture on Instagram of him holding his oldest son Trey with Trey's mother, Chris Rock commented with, "Wow, you have a very understanding wife." And he's also taking quasi-shots at Will over the years.
Okay, that Will Smith messed it up for everybody. The guy's already taken parts from me. Now his kids are taking parts from my kids. What the hell? Will Smith, don't you have enough? Damn you, Will Smith.
But nothing truly malicious. So taking all of that into consideration, along with her insecurity over her hair loss, Jada was naturally unamused with the joke, as you can tell by her eye roll. This is what we call rock and roll. It was clear, Jada did not like the joke, especially not as much as her husband did. Which, this right here is exactly how Will Smith had to play it all night. This was his night. He was finally nominated for Best Actor after multiple snubs throughout his career, and he was the heavy favorite to win the award. This was Will Smith's night. It's why he had better seating than Doctor Strange. He just had to sit back, smile, fake laugh at a few bad jokes, and enjoy the night. In fact, the only thing he had to do was not walk up on stage and slap a presenter. But, well, you know. So this cutaway back to Chris Rock was an important one in the telecast, because at some point during this cutaway, Will looked at Jada and got the look from his wife that just about every guy in the history of nuptials has gotten from his wife. If you're not going to do something, we're going to have a stern talking to later on tonight and for the next 25 years of our marriage. Because fellas, let's be honest, women do not forget. Will probably got that look from Jada that if he didn't do anything, not only was he not going to get any, but someone else probably was. They have a weird relationship dynamic. She probably told him,
"You better loosen up that wrist."
So he decided to take matters in his own hands. Literally.
Uh-oh.
He walks right up and slaps Chris Rock like he just wasted the last 2 hours watching Grown Ups 2.
Oh, wow.
This legend of douchebagger Vance went full career Suicide Squad in the pursuit of slappiness. And with his hand cocked, just smacks the absolute pootie tang out of Chris Rock.
Pootie tang.
Which will probably leave a scar. A Madagascar. I mean, he nearly took out his eye. Robot. All right, look, I'm sorry, but Chris Rock should get checked out for a concussion. Okay, all right, now I'm done. It's just he slapped him like the cast of Encanto slaps anyone who talks about Bruno. I mean, Caretaker hasn't been mistreated this bad since he was literally blown up in his cell. Check out his walk back. He has like a Jim West strut going. And credit Chris Rock. He literally just got smacked in front of thousands in-house and millions watching worldwide. And he just got that same old Chris Rock smirk on his face.
Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Respect to this dude for being a pro. Now, you probably think that while this is going on, Jada's probably sitting there being like,
No, don't do that.
but according to this alternate angle, apparently she thought it was hilarious.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
This was just slapstick comedy to her. Emphasis on slap. Now, a lot of people immediately started debating if this was real or fake. They were like, tell the truth. And I get it. In this day and age where Tom Brady can't even post a cryptic photo without it being a ploy for Hulu having live sports, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Plus, it's Hollywood. You're not just sitting in a room full of people who literally fake for a living, but you're sitting in a room full of people who are just fake, to the point where Best Supporting Actor every year should go to Botox. But as we come to learn, this was not fake. And if you need proof, during the next commercial break, Will was consoled by Denzel Washington and Tyler Perry. And then later, Bradley Cooper. I mean, if it was fake, would Madea have been there? Pretty sure she's as real as they come. And if it was fake, guys like Steven Spielberg probably would have been like, I know a way to make it better. Plus, the Academy doesn't want people fighting at the prestigious award show. If the Academy liked seeing Will Smith slap people, then Hitch would have been nominated years ago.
Get out.
But the Academy hates fighting. That's why Fight Club's only Oscar nom came for sound effects editing. The Academy has the same first rule as Fight Club.
You do not talk about Fight Club.
But speaking of sound editing and fights, can we go back and hear that smack? It sounds like when you drop a dictionary on the floor. This slap sounds like a Derrick Henry stiff-arm. And that's another telltale sign this wasn't fake. I mean, hell, if this was fake, Will would have been slapping The Rock, not Chris Rock. It wasn't a WWE moment. It was an OMG moment. And if this was fake, then they would have given Will a second Best Actor award, because what follows was a masterclass in monologues.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Now, this was about the time the audio cut out for most viewers at home. We could see Will Smith yelling, but couldn't tell what he was saying. We assumed something like Beyonce had the best album of the year, but instead it was,
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to.
and I love Lupita Nyong'o's reaction. She was all of us because she realized at the same time we did that this was no bit. And Chris Rock is like, wow, dude. And in case anyone couldn't see the veins sticking out of his forehead and couldn't quite tell if Will Smith was upset, he verbally confirmed it.
Yes.
So Chris Rock is like, really, dude? You're going to get mad at me for this after you made After Earth?
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Chris says, it was a joke about G.I. Jane. So Will Smith repeats himself louder, this time for the seat fillers in the back. Shout out to my seat fillers.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to.
And this is when it gets real and so unbearably awkward. Like the only time in school when your cool teacher raised their voice.
Okay?
So quiet, so awkward. Like he dropped 2 F-bombs, leading to the second most offensive moment of the night, just behind Wanda Sykes' Oscar Museum skit.
This is like the ultimate revenge gown, because it says, you could have had this, you could have had all this.
Thanks, Wanda. It's a good thing this G.I. Jane joke came from Chris Rock and not from Liza Minnelli. Lord knows what Will would have done to her. You stay away from her, Mike Lowry. And then this next part is interesting to me. While Chris Rock collects himself, he says,
okay.
like, what could you do?
Okay.
To me, this was like Chris Rock biting his tongue.
Okay.
Like he could have spilled some tea, dropped some dirt, whatever you want to call it, but chooses not to. And instead hits us all with this gem of a line.
That was a greatest night in the history of television.
And then he almost sticks the landing,
So we are here
but instead flubs up his very next line.
to give a documentary out,
Yeah, you don't give documentaries out, not unless you're Netflix.
to give an Oscar out for best documentary.
But look, I'm not going to clown him. Again, he was literally just welcomed to Earth by Will Smith.
Welcome to Earth.
I mean, Will's fresh prints were still implanted on this dude's cheek, and he handled it like a pro. And on top of that, he reportedly turned down the option to press charges, which I get. It would only be more of a headache, and he didn't need another headache.
And the Oscar goes to...
But the real irony came a little bit later in the show when the Oscar for Best Actor went to Andrew Garfield. No, I'm just kidding. It went to...
Will Smith.
Because of course. But I did love the irony of the man who just physically assaulted someone on screen being handed his award by the cast of a Quentin Tarantino movie. So immediately Will leans over to G.I. Jada and probably says something like, "I am legend," or something weird like that. And did anyone else find it weird that literally everyone stood up and clapped as if he didn't just smack someone 30 minutes earlier? Then again, they're probably clapping for him, hoping he doesn't do it to them too. I mean, check out Jason Momoa here, keeping a close eye on him like a bouncer. And Timothy Chalamet is like, "Oh, this ought to be good." So Will then starts his speech with a joke, I guess.
Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family.
And then a little later he says,
I'm being called on in my life to love people.
"Oh, okay." Because before you...
And to protect people.
Okay, yeah, again, earlier you...
To do what we do, you got to be able to take abuse.
Yeah, tell that to Chris Rock.
In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you. And you got to smile and you got to pretend like that's okay.
Okay, where was this advice to yourself like 30 minutes ago? But then he hits us with this great line.
I want to be a vessel for love.
A vessel for love? What kind of vessel? A torpedo? A tank? A vessel for love? A vessel for love. Okay, all right, gotcha, Gemini man. And then right after that, our visual feed cut out. Why? Because Venus Williams had a nip slip. Like, what is happening? This night, for lack of a better term, was a total shit show. So the night was pretty much over, but not until Will took some time out to apologize.
I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to all my fellow nominees.
Okay, so he pretty much apologized to everyone who he didn't slap in the face. Then again, maybe he's just apologizing for After Earth. It's about time. People don't forget Will. But as G.I. Jada looked on proudly, Will ended the night with one last joke.
Thank you. Hope the Academy invites me back. Thank you.
So yeah, Will Smith walks away with a shiny new trophy, while Chris Rock walked away with a shiner. But hey, at least this moment gave us a celebrity photo more epic than that Ellen selfie from a few years ago. And that was this photo from the Vanity Fair party. I mean, there is so much here. From Sarah Paulson being the one to show everyone, to Ron Howard being like, "You mean you can get the internet on your phone?" To Taika Waititi giving us the absolute greatest face of all time, to Jason Bateman giving us the greatest Jason Bateman face of all time, and J.J. Abrams being zoned out trying to think of new ways he can cash in on the Star Wars franchise. Also, I'm not sure who this guy is, but I'm guessing he's a caterer who's just completely neglecting his job to watch the genie from Aladdin slap the absolute crap out of Osmosis Jones. And speaking of after parties, Will seemed to enjoy his. I mean, the man is literally rapping along to his own song, and somehow that wasn't the douchiest thing he did all night.
You got to have respect to get respect.